Chelsea here for a minute. I want to ask you guys about that João Felix deal, because there was a lot of frustration and anger yesterday online from people. People don't understand how they paid around 40 million for a player who flopped and they're now getting 48 million. There's calls that there's fraud going on because PIF are an investor in Clear Lake. What do you guys make of this?
I feel like this whole window, there's been, I don't want to say fraud, but some type of money laundering going on around the world of football, like the money washing, sports washing, whatever you want to call it. Because it's like the past couple of years, there's been not that much money in transfer windows. And all of a sudden this summer, everybody's got a bunch of money to spend. Everybody's got 50 to 60 million pounds to throw around at players. And like you said, there's too many coincidences with a lot of these deals happening, how they're happening. Like John Duran, seeing him go after just spending 6 months at Al Nassr to go on loan at Fenerbahce, who now have God knows how amount of money to pay his wages. I think it's all a bit strange. It's all a bit strange. And it's like the Saudi deals seem far too keen to do favors for Premier League clubs and some other clubs. And it seems like maybe the Saudi clubs are potentially, doing it as, okay, look, we're going to pay you a little bit extra this time. So when we need a favor, I don't know what type of favor that is, but they've got them in on the back end. Because like you said there, João Felix has been an absolute flop for Chelsea. And I thought the deal was written around the same, but to see that they've got more money for him, 48 million pounds. It's crazy that this player has even secured around 250 million pounds in transfer fees in just himself, moving around clubs. It's just not making sense. A player that's consistently flopped at all these teams, all these other clubs still want to pick him up. And I'm pretty. He's got the super agent, has he? Is he managed by Jorge Mendes as well? So if that is the case, then this all makes sense to me. It's just like, oh, super agent doing super agent things, pulling some strings, pulling some favors, calling in some favors, and making deals happen. But definitely something strange going on in the world of football, because yeah, how that's been made to happen and how Chelsea are constantly the team that always the beneficiaries of it. It's just not making sense. It's not making sense.
Well, this comment here said Chelsea have offloaded a fair few to Saudi. Mendy, Koulibaly, Felix, Angelo. There's something dodgy there. What's your thought on it? Do you think there's something dodgy going on?
I don't know. I think it's more accusations than anything else. I think, like with Saudi, they just want to buy as many players as possible to make the league as good as possible. Like the most amount of money spent in the transfer window is 2023, and it was 2.44 billion. And that was when I think that was the year that Saudi started putting money in. So like if they are starting to spend money on players and putting money more into, say, the players that are in Europe, then there's naturally going to be more money to spend. I think the way Chelsea's model is now is that they buy a lot of young players and sell. So like you see like some of the transfers that they have now going around, like say with Gittins, for example, he might come in and be like really good for, say, a couple of years, and then someone else like Atletico Madrid might come in and spend like X amount of money on him and Chelsea will let him go. They don't mind doing that, and they don't mind bringing players in, a lot of players in with potential sell-on. So yeah, I think the Saudi money it's Saudi money. Do you know what I mean? It's unlimited. They're not constrained by by financial fair play, so they can spend as much as they want, and bring in the players that they need to spend, or bring in the players that they need to do to improve their league. That's what they want to do. Like say if Anthony goes to Saudi and he's valued at 20 million, they spend 40 to 50 million. Is there something fishy going on there? Do you know what I mean? It's not. I just think they need to spend bigger wages to attract players to come to that league. So that's the way they're going to do it.
Yeah, I'm the same as you, Jamie. I think I get how it looks because they've got the Clear Lake connection and everything else. But Chelsea are notoriously very good sellers, and they have been for a long time. Why? To all the Man United fans crying in the comment section that we should just get rid. The reason why Chelsea are so good at selling is because they don't just get rid. Typically speaking, they push, they wait, they hold on, and they're steadfast in their approach. But again, that takes real patience and real alpha still to do that. And most you crying don't have that. Equally, look, Man United were going to get offered over £100 million for Bruno Fernandes a few weeks back, but Bruno Fernandes didn't want to go. There are players in our squad. There's been a few talks about Luke Shaw and a few others. The issue is as well, it's who are these players playing for? What are they earning, and will they play, and can they go? And I actually think if Man United were in a better situation financially, we'd be able to sell more players to Saudi. In the sense of, I think some players look at it and go, well, I know if I stay, I'm going to get the play. And I still think João Felix would rather be in La Liga or the Premier League, but no one's coming in for him. Chelsea can afford to buy even if he stays at the football club. It isn't like, well, can't afford if João Felix doesn't go, we can't afford anything, so we're gonna have to just keep him and he's gonna get to play. Because they're so well run, they're in this situation where the players know, well, I'm just not going to kick ball and I'm going to sit in the reserves and I'll get sent out to, Timbuktu on loan. I'm not going to enjoy it. At least if I take this move, I'm going to earn good money. I'm going to be at a club that wants me. So it puts you in a stronger position to negotiate. So look, I love it. I'm not against it. I just want my club to start doing a bit of it. Like I said before, if you can sell your women's team to yourself, do it, Man United.
Loads of teams are going to do that now, though. Loads of teams are going to start doing that because it's legal. Yeah, because it's free money.
Yeah, and they're going to wait. They're going to wait until they're struggling. I think most will wait until they've slightly overspent. Oh, we're going to get in trouble. Now we'll do it. They'll sort of save it as like a comfort blanket. They'll look at what else they own around their club. We own this building. We own that building. We own that hotel. We own this street. We own this. What we'll just do, they probably own loads of properties. A lot of football clubs where it again would make sense rather than renting. They probably buy properties, put new players that move to that area in them. They'll just get to a point where they go, right, we've got to raise 5 million quid to avoid PSR. Let's sell these 3 bits of land or 3 bits of properties to our owner's company. That's what everyone's going to do it now. And look, if it's in the rules, it's in the rules. I'm not personally against it.
There's a bit of a conflict of interest from I don't like how PIF have got such a stake in so many different clubs, as in they're involved in Newcastle, they're involved in Chelsea. There's also talks that they could be involved in Tottenham with some sponsorship deal to our stadium. So it's like, is there not a conflict of interest that they've got involvements in 3 different teams in a league? So like you said, and they also own quite a lot of these Saudi teams and so on. So when there is deals going on, it's like they are just moving money around. So like if we start to see, I don't know, let's just say this sponsorship deal gets triggered and now Spurs start to do more business with Chelsea, or all of a sudden start doing business with Chelsea because we haven't in 20 years, start to do more business with Newcastle. It's like, this is just all strange. And I feel like we can't just ignore all this stuff. And I know as fans, we're going to be told we're conspiracy theorists and stuff, but there is all too much coincidences going on. And I don't think that this stuff should be ignored. And ultimately, the rules aren't going to be put in place because it benefits too many people. Too many teams are beneficiaries of these rules. Like you said, Jamie, teams are going to start selling their women's teams because it's like, oh, Chelsea have benefited, we have to benefit. And also, I don't think the Premier League are going to put in the rule now because Chelsea and Aston Villa have done it. It'd be too late to put in the rule because now everyone's going to complain that these 2 teams have done it and we haven't been able to do it. So it's just a case of everybody is going to start cheating. But I think there needs to be some consistency with the conflicts of interest, because I don't think the teams have involvements in 3 different Premier League clubs.
No, I think that logic makes sense to me. But what I would say is that is an issue that FIFA or the Premier League, whoever it is, that they would have to address with the teams themselves. Because say if they are clubs obviously go through rigorous tests before they're allowed to be bought by another club. So if the Saudi were able to buy Newcastle, then they feel like they've passed the test. So having additional investment in other teams, but like their different branches and stuff, that's something that might be different. Like the issue I think is now is that because Saudi is obviously started to push their own league and they've started to make investment in different parts of football, and they've done it with other sports as well. Do you know what I mean? Like they're big on the boxing. There's obviously in La Liga, some of the matches have been started to play in like Saudi as well. Like there's a lot of money that's coming in, and for these clubs that, especially post-COVID, that were struggling a lot financially, that's money that is going to help them get back on track. And even say with Newcastle, for example, like if Newcastle's going to Liverpool, if Isak is going to Liverpool for 150 million, and then say Isak didn't mind going to Saudi, they're probably going to put in like a 200+ million bid to get him over the line. So like they have the money that's floating around, they can spend as much as they want, and as long as the Premier League and the other teams are getting paid, nobody's going to kind of question what's going on from that point of view. But if there is something going on, then it's going to be very hard to kind of target and stop.
Yeah. Look, I don't. There's a few people in the comments that are having a pop at me. Like, Terry, do you think when they got rid of Kante, it was dodgy? I haven't said it was dodgy. I asked a question, and it just shows a lack of intelligence that you think asking a question is a statement. So I'm not going to dignify you with an answer on that. Just read some more books, people. I don't think it is dodgy personally. I also think the Saudis are trying their hardest to, I think whether people like this or not, I think they're trying to attract more people to their nation. They're trying to improve, I don't want to say improve their image per se, but they're trying to make it a desirable place for people to live, people to go on holiday. I don't think they're going to do that by breaking rules in the sports that they're trying to improve. Like they're in boxing, and I actually think boxing has got better since they've been involved because they're just. I think there's less corruption because they're just saying, right, how much is this going to cost to get those two promoters to work together, those two boxers to fight, that to be the undercard? What's going to be the cost where everyone's just happy? 80 million for the event. There's 90 million. Have a good time. I think you get less corruption because there isn't any need for this promoter to be like, oh, I'm going to pay off this judge maybe. I'm just making this scenario up because if my fighter loses, we're not going to get any more fights. We're not going to make any more money. There's none of that because you kind of know that the money's just going to keep coming because it's there. So I don't necessarily think it's that. And I think people hate it when it's not their club. But I reckon today, George, if someone knocked on your door and went, look, there's 80 million pounds for Richarlison, you're saying you're bathing in oil. You're going to you're going to be rubbing yourself up in oil, saying, "Give me that oil money, baby." That's it. You're on mute, bro. You're on mute.
Big facts. I'll do that on stream too. I'll rub myself up in means you get 80 million for Richarlison. I don't mind. I'm not gonna lie about it though. Definitely a little bit jealous, and I'll be the first person to say like it does come from a place of jealousy, but also like. Yeah, like I see my club do business, and I feel like my club misses out more than most clubs because we always have to do things the right way. Because Daniel Levy just wants to be the right way. They're probably just as crooked, but they're crooked in they don't do it in the open eyes of everyone. So Spurs always we always seem to miss out on these big money moves, these big deals, all these dodgy dealings.
Here we go. Just dropped. I never saw this one coming this summer, but Granit Xhaka to Sunderland. Here we go.
Crazy stuff. I don't know. There's because I heard was it I think I saw Saudi was in for him. I saw there was like bigger clubs in for him, but he's opted for Sunderland. It's been really strange. I'm not really sure what's going on.
Yeah, before we move on to I want to say about João Felix. One of the reasons why Saudi will want him, this man has nearly 13 million followers on Instagram. I was just looking while you boys were talking. On his last 6 posts alone, there's an average of 500,000 likes per post. His football-based posts will get even more views. This is all part of it. It's why he's worth the money to them, because when he's out there, part of their deals will be stories and posts, tell everybody how brilliant it is, how much you're loving it, because that's what they want. They listen, they don't need money, Saudi, but they want they want people to come there and live there and
advertising.
They want ads on there, and it's worth the money to them. So again, I've talked about this for years, but I remember people used to moan about how much money that Rooney used to earn. Why is he earning the same as this player or more than this guy? Forget the football ability. People don't remember. They're too young to remember. There's a lot of people watching. The older people have forgotten the pull and the power and the social media presence. Even back when imagine Rooney coming through now or Beckham coming through now. Do you know how much? I reckon if Beckham was in his pomp as a player now with the same fame. And listen, Messi and Ronaldo have got more followers. Like Beckham would have been on their level, hundreds of millions of followers. I don't know, what has Beckham got followers now? Beckham's been retired 10 years. What's Beckham's Instagram now? Without even kicking a ball, Beckham's Instagram.
Like 150 maybe?
88 million, right?
Oh, idea.
I think if Instagram came out when Beckham was in his pomp, I reckon this man would be on 400, 500 million followers on there. What would then happen when he was a Man United player is if the Saudis were around then, they'd have come in today's, and they'd have paid 300 or 400 million pounds for him, because they would have wanted Beckham to be the face of Saudi tourism. Beckham, when I was in Qatar, and I was learning this when I was out there, so there was lots of players that were at the World Cup, and their face was everywhere. And basically what had happened, they'd signed these crazy lucrative deals where essentially Qatar owned their image rights for a set amount of time, and it was everywhere, and they had to do adverts, they had to do this, they had to do that, and that's what it's all about. So I don't think it's about fraud or money laundering. It's about the richest people in the world with a bottomless pit of cash, just buying what they need. By the way, Newcastle would be operating like this if PSR didn't exist. This is it. Newcastle would be going, right, we've got to improve. These 3 or 4 tens don't want to come to us. They'll just keep going down the line for the next best thing, and they will pay a premium to get it done, because it's better to have João Felix costing 48 million than a player half as good as him for the right money. It doesn't make sense. Just bring him in. And by the way, João Felix will kill it over there. He'll kill it. He'll do well. He really, really well. Beckham wouldn't be as popular today, Terry. Oh, shut up, Maverick. That's why we call him Maradon the moron. He's popular now. He's popular now at 50. He wouldn't be popular.
Beckham would have been like, you see how big, like Jude's been massive the last couple of years. That would have been Beckham would have been double that, double what people have seen of Jude. It would have been Beckham double fold, like.
Oh, it's and Beckham had the I mean, look how famous Jude Bellingham is, how big he is. Beckham's got more than double the Instagram followers of him. Instagram was barely, I don't even know if he had an Instagram account, Beckham, when he was still playing, maybe right towards the end as an example.
When did Instagram come out? It was probably like 2006.
2012, 2013, probably. Instagram was late. I remember I was in like secondary.
Yeah,
school.
2010. So like Beckham would have been, well, he would have been at LA Galaxy, PSG, I think.
LA Galaxy, PSG times, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then there was only coming out then. Do you know what I mean? So it was only up. So he would have been at the kind of tail end of his career.
Yeah, but this is it though. Beckham didn't join. Google it. Beckham didn't join Instagram until 2015.
There you go. Yeah. So he finished.
So he was retired, and he has more followers than Pedro. Like Mbappe's been around the whole time. Insta's been around the whole time for Mbappe. 125 million followers. So Beckham, who'd been retired for a number of years, who didn't join Instagram until after he retired, he's only got sort of 40 million less followers than the current player that is probably the most famous active player in the world. Beckham would have been twice, 3 times as big. People don't realize. You just don't. And you got to remember about how famous Beckham was. And this is the crazy part of Beckham's fame. Social media didn't exist. We see most things now on social media. You put your phone, you can see it all. It was different when it was the new. What you don't see now, you put the news on and you open newspapers, you are not seeing these players every day in newspapers. You're not seeing them every day on the news. Beckham was every day. Yeah. I don't think people realize that there was such a difference in, if social media existed, it would have been another level. But anyway, Chelsea